want to know what keeps me up at night? Watching e-commerce brand owners burn through their advertising spend without capturing valuable site visitors. Every single day, potential customers land on your store, they browse around and potentially vanish forever. That traffic you paid for, gone. Those potential customers potentially vanished. But here's the thing, it does not have to be that way. In this video, I'm going to share some simple tweaks that we implement for our clients that help them to 3x their recapture from their existing traffic. The best part about this, you can set it all up in about 15 minutes and it works while you sleep. Let me show you how. But before I do, why should you actually listen to me? My agency, Gen Z Media, has generated more than $50 million in D2C sales through email and SMS marketing, and a massive reason for that was focusing on the pop-up forms. Okay, so let's crack into it. Now, this is a problem that we're seeing across multiple e-commerce brands that we're speaking to every single week, and I'm sure it's probably a problem that you're facing yourself. So what we're seeing is a lot of people putting money into meta ads, into Google ads, into maybe organic sources as well. And this is going into a leaky bucket, right? Because your site visitors down here are slipping through the cracks. If you don't have your pop-up form dialed in, you're missing out on a load of data, a load of valuable subscribers into your email list. And to any email marketing strategy, your email list or your email list growth is essentially oxygen. So advertising costs are only going to rise. This means that maximizing your email and SMS capture has been more crucial than ever, because once you have their email address, like, your email list is immune to rising ad costs, algorithm changes, giving you the control. You own this channel. Emails are far cheaper than ads, reducing customer acquisition costs and obviously for re-engaging customers as well. And you can build those relationships over time, sending personalized offers. Now, this is probably likely you with the advertising costs ever so rising, and they will continue to rise as well. So capturing these email addresses, capturing these SMS phone numbers is literally, like, it hasn't been more important than right now. But in order to reap the benefits of email marketing, you need an email address. And the answer is setting up and optimizing your pop-up form. And in this funny little graphic here, you have your pop-up form filling in that leak. Now we're going to go through 3 different ways in which you can set up a pop-up form. And the first one's being a multi-step pop-up. And this is where the first section isn't actually asking for their email address. You're simply asking the customer, do they want a discount? Yes or no? And the psychology here is that if they tick yes or click yes, they're much more likely to give you the email address and then give you the phone number later on in step 2 of the pop-up form. So you're getting that micro commitment from the customer. The next way of doing it is doing a single step pop-up where you're essentially asking for that email address in the first window of the pop-up. And what I strongly suggest doing is testing either a multi-step versus a single step, seeing which one actually, benefits your brand the most, which gets you the most subscribers. So would strongly recommend testing that out. Now the third style is a full page pop-up, and I'm seeing a lot of D2C brands testing this out. It may very well work for your brand. The only thing is to be cognizant of the fact that it may impede site conversion rate, but again, you have to test this out for your own brand, and I strongly recommend you do that. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go into optimal pop-up settings, because I see a lot of brands getting this wrong, and it's literally leaking so many email subscribers into your list, or out of your list I should say. So it's crucial that you get this correct. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a Klaviyo account and kind of explain how to set this all up. But first, before we do that, we're going to focus on timing. So generally what we've found is displaying the pop-up form 5 to 10 seconds after the page load is most optimal. The targeting, obviously you want to exclude people who are already on the list, but with the targeting, you want to exclude Klaviyo profiles and cart and checkout pages as well. Because for example, if they're already on the list, you don't want them to see the pop-up form again. And if they're on the cart or checkout page, it's very unlikely you're going to want to show a pop-up form there, which could potentially damage your conversion rate on the checkout or cart. And then thirdly, accessibility. So what you'll want to do is set up a teaser here. So if the customer accidentally closes the pop-up form, they're easily able to open that back up again. Now, what we're going to do is we'll dive into the Klaviyo account and get straight into it. Okay, so we're in the Klaviyo account. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a form from scratch, just a basic template one, but I just want to show you how to set up these settings. So what we're going to want to do is obviously create a pop-up form. We can pick from a bunch of different templates. What you might want to do here is select pop-up, and it'll bring you some templates now. Kind of stayed the same, but nonetheless we can kind of pick whichever one we want and whichever one would look best for our brand. Now I'm just going to pick this one just out of random. We're going to call it test, and what is crucial here is that you'll want to make sure that it's going to the correct list. You want to make sure that if you're sending customers like perhaps a discount, that they're getting the correct email. So we're going to push them to the newsletter. This is the list that we've chosen for this dummy account. And as you can see here, as a side note, it's saying to include the teaser, and I strongly recommend you do that just in case customers accidentally close it. Now, once we're in here into the pop-up form, we're going to go into targeting and behavior. Now, the first things first is we'll want to make sure that the timing is set up correctly. What we'll want to do here is select based on rules, And what we're going to click here is after time delay, and we can go with five seconds here. Generally what we found is 5 to 10 seconds is the best, but again, this totally depends on your own brand, your own site traffic, so always test this out. Now what you'll also want to do is make sure that these customers, if we go over to targeting, those who are already on the list, we're not showing to existing Klaviyo profiles. So just make sure that this is selected. Now if you want to exclude the pop-up form from a cart or checkout page, what you can do is you can come down here and say don't show on certain URLs, and we'll say containing, and we're going to put in /cart and add another one. We're going to say containing and then /checkout. Now just double check that this applies to your own brand. It probably should, but any link including or containing cart or checkout won't be, the pop-up form won't show on those links. So that's incredibly important that you have that set up. Now, if we just come back out here, now that we have our targeting and behavior set up, we'll also want to come and make a teaser. So the way the teaser works is if the customer clicks out of the form, they'll see this little widget down the bottom, and then they can click that, and then the pop-up form will open back up. So you can come in here and you can obviously make some changes to the copy. Of course it's white, so it's actually disappeared there, but you can make some changes to the copy, and obviously of course make some changes to the design of it as well. So that is essentially how you would set the pop-up form settings in the Klaviyo account. Now just to dive deeper on some Klaviyo specific settings, it's really important that you realize that Klaviyo uses AND logic. So when you're either choosing to display the pop-up form based off of a time delay or whether it's based off of page scroll, it's really important that you pick one or the other. For example, if you pick both after a time delay and after a page scroll, what that means is the customer will have to be on the page for a certain amount of time, and they will have to scroll a certain amount of the page or the website. So that's incredibly important that you get that right, because if you have two rules set at once, you could be limiting the amount of people actually seeing your pop-up form, and hence, limiting the amount of people coming into your email list. Now, secondly, you'll want to make sure that double opt-in is turned off. I see a lot of brands not doing this, and what this means is you're adding an additional step for customers to actually get into your email list, because if you have double opt-in turned on, that means that once a customer signs up to your list, they're going to get another email saying, do you confirm your subscription? They have to click yes, and then they get the first email of the welcome series. So I would suggest turning that off just to speed up list growth and to make sure that there's no friction in the process when a customer signs up to your email list. Now, if you'd like to see the guide on how to actually do this, I'll leave the link to this guide down in the bottom in the description, and you can check that out. Now, another thing as well is if you're testing offers on the pop-up form, so perhaps you want to test 10% off versus $10 off, you'll want to make sure that the correct properties are set up on the pop-up form, so the correct customer gets the correct discount. And again, if you want to see that guide, click down below in the link in the description. You'll have access to this full guide, and you'll be able to watch the Loom video on how to exactly do this, so make sure to check that out. Now, on the note of A/B testing offers, after doing numerous amounts of testing across multiple different brands and pop-up forms, we have found the best offers to generally be, of course, a discount, so offering either a percentage or a dollar amount off their first order. Free gifts also work exceptionally well and may be better for the brand's margin. Free gifts are also a great offer to include on your pop-up form. You can obviously provide a complimentary item or give them free shipping, and depends on your brand, this actually might be a favorable option as opposed to giving a straight percentage discount, especially if you have a higher AOV brand. And the third option here is giving away free resources. So potentially you might want to give away some free guides, some free PDFs, potentially to show the customer how to use the products that you're selling. And this is really good for brands who are, not in the position to offer big discounts as well. So it works really, really well. Now, the one thing I will say across all of these offers is not only check how much this affects customers coming into the list, because that's important. Of course, we're looking for list growth here, but what's even more important than that is checking how customers convert on those specific offers. For example, if you're testing 10% off versus $10 off, the $10 off offer may get you more email subscribers, but the 10% offer may actually get you more revenue. So it's always important to have a look at the conversion rates after the customer has signed up for the email list. That is really crucial. Now, finally, we're going to talk about A/B testing your pop-up form. And I think this is the lowest hanging fruit out of any email marketing strategy, because think about it. If you can maximize the eyeballs coming into your email list, the chances are, the probability is that you're going to maximize the revenue. So what I suggest doing here is obviously testing those offer types, compare different incentives, find what's best for your brand. Number 2 is analyzing those results, review the sign-up rates and the conversion rates, like I just mentioned, because that is super important. We're not only just trying to maximize emails, we're trying to maximize revenue here. So take note of which offers are performing better. And then finally, refine that approach. implement those winning strategies, and continuously optimize to get those best results. And there you have it. You now know how to set up a Klaviyo pop-up form, but optimizing and continuously improving them to see the best results, that's a completely different story. If you want to ensure that your pop-ups consistently drive results and skyrocket your list growth, click the link down below in the description and book in a free consultation with myself. Or if you're not ready and you're just starting out, feel free to check out this video where I share my ultimate copywriting guide.